good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this week's brand new podcast episode. So my name is Angeline Constantinou. I am the founder, CEO, and women's empowerment coach of Let's Break the Silence with Angeline. So I help women break free from their past so they can rebuild their confidence and step into their purpose. So if you are watching this live right now on my Facebook page, on my YouTube channel, and also on Instagram at Let's Break the Silence, please put a hashtag live in the comments and please let me know where you are live streaming from. Please hashtag live. And if you are going to be watching the replay, please hashtag replay. So this morning, I went live in the Divorce Summit group for women, and I shared my story of how the storm was my wake-up call and why divorce became my spiritual awakening, which led me into my true purpose. So let's dive right in. I am super, super excited. And also, I have a free gift at the end of this live, so please stay tuned for that. I have launched something really new and exciting that is going to help women activate and help them step into their true purpose. And this is free, and I'm super excited because my business coach created this for me literally at the last minute, so I feel very grateful. Okay, so if you're watching live on YouTube, hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay. And today we are going to be talking about how the storm led into my purpose and how I turned my pain into purpose after divorce. So I wasn't always this confident and grounded. In fact, while my divorce was going on, I literally hit rock bottom. But it also became the moment God woke me up and started rewriting my story. So part one, we are going to talk about the storm and my divorce journey. So once upon a time, as most of you know, for those of you who are following my journey, I experienced a lot of loneliness. And I'm going to be real and raw about this. I lost my sense of self-worth, and I didn't feel worthy anymore. And, I was married to, I thought was going to be the love of my life. And that didn't pan out. Because of domestic violence. And I turned that into a victory story. So you can, for me, I don't know if this has happened to you, but I had the turning moment for me was enough is enough. And I came face to face with myself and I asked this deep question. And this deep question was, do I want to stay in this marriage anymore? I had to ask myself that because I struggled through breaking through those limiting beliefs because I thought that I could not live on my own anymore. There was a lot of things running through my mind, and I said to myself, can I really live on my own? And I did. And, fast forward to today, I'm proud to say that I have rediscovered my true purpose, and now I am empowering women to do the same because that is something that speaks to me. And what I want to say is this, the loss of self-worth and shame. I understand that many women face that. And, I faced that in my life. And, but I chose not to stay in that filthy muck anymore. So I just chose not to do that because I knew that I deserved a better life and a life filled with abundance. So God met me there in the valley, not to condemn me, but to call me up. And this is where faith came into play. Okay. For me, the spiritual awakening and identity rebuilding was a process. It was a process for me. So let me ask you this. For those of you who are going to be watching the replay, have you ever experienced a spiritual awakening after divorce? If the answer is yes, please let me know in the comments. And that goes for Instagram, that goes for YouTube, and for Facebook. Okay? So please let me know in the comments. I would love to know. And what I also want to share is this. So this is how I was able to rebuild my identity. I realized that divorce wasn't punishment. It was an opportunity for rebirth. It was a rebirth for me. And I came to realize that the true work came actually in the healing process. And what I mean is this. I surrendered and trusted in God's plan, because God has a special plan for your life. And I knew deep in my I knew deep in my heart, this is real and raw, that God was going to lead me to a new purpose in my life. So if this is resonating with you, please hashtag resonate in the comments, and I would love to know your thoughts, okay? And I rediscovered the power of journaling and prayer. That was my secret weapon during silent, painful nights. For example, I had trouble sleeping because when I was going through my divorce, I moved all my belongings upstairs because financially I could not afford to, at least get a 1-bedroom apartment or a studio apartment for me. So, I literally, I was scared, and I would stay up late at night. But I discovered the power of journaling and prayer during those painful nights. And it became a safe space for me to release bitterness and shame and blame. So, in other words, it's not your fault. It is not your fault. Shame and guilt is what a lot of women struggle with today, especially in the times that we are living in today. And you know what, girl, sister, I feel your pain. I feel your pain because I went through the same thing 16 years ago. And so journaling became a safe space for me to release that bitterness and shame, to journal. And it also allowed me to speak life and truth back into myself. So I spoke positivity and faith and belief in myself. I started to believe in myself. And I know I've shared this story on other podcast shows. And one of them was yesterday, the Real and Raw podcast, which will be released tomorrow. So I cannot wait for that, because I'll be flying to London at the end of the month. But that's a perfect example. Okay, having belief and faith in myself and getting honest about what I was ready to let go of. So I was ready to let go of that bitterness and shame that was holding me back. That is a limiting belief. And I also had to let go of, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I'm not beautiful. I'm not this. I'm not that. I can't run a business anymore. When you keep saying, when you speak negativity into your life, you are going to attract negative people in your life. When you start to speak positivity back into your life, the whole world changes. And trust me on that. When you start to speak positivity into your life, you start to attract abundance back into your life. And that's exactly what happened to me. I started to surround myself with uplifting people, mentors, coaches who were, they made, these leaders have made a huge impact on the world. They made more money than I did, but that didn't matter to me. That did not matter to me. So, because I knew that I had to step up. So I had to stand. So I stood in my truth. And every entry felt like a conversation with God, pulling me from victimhood into victory. So I claimed victory in my life. And that was a huge breakthrough for me. Reclaiming my voice, reclaiming my confidence back through my podcast, speaking, and coaching. And I shifted from surviving to serving women. So I got out of that survival mode. And I don't know about you, but it took me a long time to get out of that survival mode, because you can only stay in survival mode for so long. And through personal development, through journaling, focusing on gratitude, what I'm grateful for every morning, this was part of my healing journey. And it led me into serving women today. And I saw the divorce as a divine assignment, helping other women heal and rise too, because guess what? We are meant to live a long life. We are meant to live a life filled with abundance. And that is so important. I mean, who wants to live a life filled with misery and you're just sitting there in that muck? I mean, there's only so long that you can sit in that green, I call that green pool. There's only, so much that you can stay in there. It's time to claim victory. And it takes a lot of resilience and strength. Trust me. In other words, developing and building that muscle. That is so, so important, to develop that muscle. So today, and your story matters. And I've had the pleasure of having guests on my podcast who have shared their real life stories. And that was part of my mission, to help women break their silence and not be ashamed to share their real life story, and to be raw, real, and vulnerable about that. That is so important. That is, for me, that was a total game changer. And so I want to encourage you today that it is never too late to rewrite your story. You are exactly where God can use you to start over, begin again, and rise up. So if this is resonating with you, please let me know in the comments below. And if you're watching the replay here or listening to this podcast episode, which will be uploaded tomorrow, by the way, on Spotify and YouTube and Apple, I encourage you to listen to this podcast episode. I encourage you to watch this live, and please post what your biggest takeaways are. So today I am in the special invitation. This is my special announcement. So I don't want you to just be inspired today. I want you to be equipped. So I am introducing a free resource. So are you ready for the free resource? Please hashtag free resource in the comments below. And here it is. So please go to letsbreakthesilence.com/journal prompts. So today I am making an announcement that God poured it in my heart to introduce this free resource to you and the journal prompts. And this guide will help you. And this guide has helped my coaching clients release those old wounds and to really get honest and clear about what they desire. because for me, I don't know about you, but for me, I had to get really honest and clear with myself. I really, really did. So the free journal is here. It is 118 journal prompts. Yes, you heard that. And I have had women, I've had over 30 women already, get access to my free faith-based journal prompts. Okay. It's going to help you get honest and clear about what they desire. So what are the lies? For example, what are the lies that you are telling yourself? Good question, right? Because, so many times we lie to ourselves that we are not good enough. And this is going to help you. This is going to help you identify those lies that you are telling yourself. And also, it is going to help you in your healing journey daily. And it is going to help you step boldly into your power and purpose. Okay? So, God poured it, like I said, God poured it in my heart to share this with you. So your breakthrough starts now. So these are faith-filled reflections. So think of this as a self-reflecting journal. It's to help you release the past, quiet self-doubt, and align your heart with God's promises for your life. So, do you feel stuck between where you are and where God is calling you to be? And are the limiting beliefs, emotional scars, and uncertainty keeping you from moving forward? So, if this is you, these 118 self-journal prompts will guide you into deeper self-reflection, healing and purpose, divine clarity, with faith in God at the center. Okay? And I'm really, God poured it in my heart to share this. So if you are ready to start your self-discovery and healing journey, please go to letsbreakthesilence.com. You can type it in, okay, in the search bar, and to access those journal prompts right now. Okay. So I'm encouraging you to do that today. Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait for tonight. I am encouraging you to do it now. Because guess what? Your future self will thank you for doing that. So if you're ready to release, heal, and rise, grab your free journal guide right now. And you are one decision away from the next beautiful chapter of your story. And I am encouraging you today to take that first step. And what I want to do is I want to close with a scripture from Isaiah chapter 61, verse 3. So I'm going to paraphrase this. He makes beauty from ashes, and your comeback will be your testimony. So get ready, because guess what? It's time to rewrite your story and claim victory in your life. So I want to thank you all for tuning in today. And this podcast episode will be released live tomorrow morning on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So please like and subscribe to my podcast on Spotify and Apple. Let's Break the Silence with Angeline. I launch weekly podcast episodes, so I'm encouraging you to like and subscribe, and also give me some feedback. I would love a rating, because that is only going to help boost my podcast on the algorithm. So let's do this, okay? Let's do this, everyone. And also, I also have a newsletter. So go to my homepage, which is letsbreakthesilence.com. Explore, subscribe to my newsletter, and book a breakthrough call with me. And also, grab your free journal prompts here today, okay? letsbreakthesilence.com/journal prompts. Your healing journey starts today. And thank you so much for tuning in. I wish you all an amazing day. Happy Thursday. Happy Thankful Thursday. Have a beautiful day, everyone, and many blessings.